Hello and welcome to this Pinterest character challenge. So for the Pinterest challenge, what you do is you pull up Pinterest, or a Pinterest character challenge, I suppose. And I didn't create this challenge. The first person I saw that did it was artist Drawing with Waffles. I'm sure other people have done this as well, but it's super fun. So you pick a number before you start. And so I'm gonna pick like the number 5. And you then make an outfit based on the search bar. I like some of these, hold on. So many boards. You make a character based on piecing together an outfit in the search bar. So say I start with hair. Search hair. Then you have to go with whatever number you picked, that particular thing. So these all look, unfortunately, really similar. Could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the hair we're gonna go with. So actually, I kind of like the two-tone. That works. I'm gonna put them all on my drawing references board. Now let's find an outfit, and then we'll sketch these all together in a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one technically 5 since it's up a little higher. We're not counting the ads at the top. Oh, that one would have been fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do shoes. And depending on what type of shoe we get, we'll determine whether we need socks or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, those are fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I like little bees. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's technically higher. Yeah. Oh, that's a website. Nope. It's a promoted. We're not gonna do the promoted. Which means it's this one, which I actually wanted just to pin to jewelry anyway. I like those earrings a lot. And we're gonna find a name for our character also. So we're gonna start baby name. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're not gonna do ones that have like multiples. So, and some of these don't even have names. So 1 name, 2 name, 3 name, 4 name, 5th name. Rowan. So there's our character. So now we'll get to sketching. So once we got to the sketching, I just had my iPad to the side of me and figured I'd just do a pretty basic pose to start with, just putting the outfit together to see how the pieces go together, and then try to figure out what pose I would want for the final design. And to be honest, throughout almost this entire project, even here on sketchbooking and then later on, I just did not feel confident in any of the drawing I was doing. We ended up going with this kind of relaxed lounging pose. I thought that would show off the shoes pretty nicely since they're really detailed. But I really didn't feel pretty good with any of my sketches, which, I mean, it happens. Artists have art block. They have days where they don't feel like they can draw very well. And I was hoping that it was just going to be the sketching that felt that way, but even going into here, laying it on my picture, I just did not feel good about the marks I was putting on the page. Luckily though, I do feel good about the end result. But here I am just kind of sketching out the drawing. I struggled hardcore with the hands and what position they would be in, but I felt pretty good on at least getting the design of the pants down and having some of the bags in the correct places and making it fit the contour of the leg pretty good. I struggled also a little bit in making sure that that leg was the correct length, but it ended up working out. And this is the good thing about these kinds of videos and hyperlapse. Like, watching it back right now feels very comfortable. Like, I look at it and I'm like, oh, it actually looks pretty good, and it doesn't look like I'm struggling that much. But when you do it in real time, before it's edited down and edited quickly, like, it just feels like it takes forever to get a line okay. You feel kind of almost embarrassed the camera's on it. It's just an interesting kind of feeling. So here I'm doing the line work. I love these Faber-Castell liners. They're really, really nice, and they really dry pretty quickly so they don't smudge. And even throughout this lining process, I was happy with how the face turned out, but I had this weird, almost deja vu moment where it looked, when it was lined like this, like some work I had done of some characters in high school. And that's not a good feeling when you're, 3 or 4 years past college, that your work is reminiscent and looks like some of your sketches in high school. So some that might be fantastic. For me, my work has changed so much, and I tried purposely to work on my style so much that to have it look almost exactly like some work I did in high school was a little concerning. And part of it is if I had left it at just the sketching phase like this, it would have been almost identical. So I'm proud that my work process has changed a lot to where the work then continues and gets more advanced. I knew when I started this that I wanted to do it in alcohol markers, so here I'm using a combination of Copic markers and these illo hue sketch markers, which I love the combination of the two. I love them both separately. I love how stiff the illo marker tips can be compared to the Copics, because it's sometimes a little bit easier to control the tips of it. And it's just different color ranges than what I have with my Copics. My Copics are more muted, and that's very, very nice for layering and laying them down. And the illo ones are more vibrant, which is good to have a pretty bright tone on your first lay down of color, as opposed to having to layer it up a whole bunch, because then you've saturated the paper and you're not going to be able to layer more on top of that. So it's really nice to be able to get the pretty close to the exact color in your first lay down, and then being able to layer on top to either mute it down a little bit or add some shading, which is what I did on the pants. I used the kind of sky blue color, I think it's sky blue, of the illo hue, and then took a gray over the top of it to kind of make it look like that denim wash. And so here's also where I've kind of grown in some of my work. I didn't just stop at coloring. With the markers, I'm now going over with colored pencil, adding details, adding textures. I've really learned to really like texture in my work a lot. And I love how Copic markers and alcohol markers in general blend, but to have a little bit of details on top with colored pencil is quite nice. So at this point, as I was wrapping up, I liked how the character looked, but it felt so bland on the page. And I didn't want to just cop out and put a big blank color behind it or leave it as is. And then I remembered how much I've loved working with the heat transfer gold foil, and I wanted to experiment with just drawing on it without like planning ahead of what I wanted to do with the foil, and just being kind of off the cuff with it. So I cut some different chunks. This is like a bronze color, and then I also add this more gold color. I think that's what they call it, even though they both kind of look gold, but that way it's a bit two-toned. And I've done a lot of work recently on what does my style look like, what does my branding look like, and these are kind of my go-to flowers for my branding, is these like daisies, and then these leaves, and then little like baby's breath kind of collections of things. So I absolutely love how this turned out around the character. I think it really brought it in, and then I was able to add in the name with the gold and it not look like a tacky add-on. So I'm overall really, really happy with the gold. Overall, I think the character was a success. This Pinterest character challenge is one of my favorite things to do when I'm stuck with art block or I'm not sure what to do, because it gives you a character or a design that might be completely out of your comfort zone, or something that you may not have ever drawn. I doubt I would do the two-tone hair for this character. And just kind of can inspire you. I haven't done a character quite like this with the flowers on the side, so that was cool to experiment with. Here you can see the gold shine, and while I've done some characters with florals, thinking of the gold foil was something new. So overall, I'm very, very excited about it. Give this challenge a try. It's super fun, super easy. You can even use Google Images if you don't have a Pinterest. And thank you for watching and tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.